That can make it quite difficult then to get to the top. Shaft gets quite steep. One might even cross the line, pull down steep, try and shallow late, or commit to that and swing over the top. So really having this in a good spot to start the swing is really, really important. Hey golfers, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the takeaway, and in particular, the one-piece takeaway that I'm sure a lot of you have heard. I know a lot of people try that, and sometimes it gets them into quite a damaging position early in the swing, which they need to recover from much later. So I'll break that down into more detail. Plus, I got a really cool drill that just puts that takeaway in the right spot. Then you'll be able to start hitting some golf balls from there as well. Okay. So if you're new to the channel, welcome. If you haven't done so already, please don't forget to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. And any of you, let me know in the comments if there's anything that you struggle with in your game. As you know, I respond to all comments and I try and help you out. So let's get started. So I'll make a few posts on takeaway, and some people say the takeaway isn't important, and it 100% is. You want to ask someone like David Leathem how important the takeaway is. The man's pretty much built a career on the takeaway position. It sets up so much for what is about to happen, and we're trying to achieve a few things in the takeaway, and I think it's something that a lot of people try different things or get confused by it. Okay, and one of the things that people talk about is the one-piece takeaway. So what is the one-piece takeaway? Well, it's moving everything away as one. So head, hands, chest, tummy, pelvis, everything coming together. Now, think about what that actually does. If I sit here, and I'm going to pull up some, I guess, good takeaways on screen for you to see, but if I say here and I want to move everything away as one, the club gets quite far behind me, okay? Where it actually needs to be a little bit more in front of me at this point. Gets quite far behind. And some people, when they try and do a one-piece takeaway, will do it and roll the forearms. So now the club gets behind and the face is open. So there is an element of the club in the takeaway that it needs to actually work a little bit up. And if we only have really one piece moving, that can make it quite difficult then to get to the top. Shaft gets quite steep. One might even cross the line, pull down steep, try and shallow late, or commit to that and swing over the top. So really having this in a good spot to start the swing is really, really important for what's about to happen after it. If that makes sense. Okay, so I'm not saying, and I know that some people probably done a one-piece takeaway for years and they've been like, that's worked really well for me. Some people's, I guess, understanding of a one-piece takeaway might be different from somebody else. But I just know that I get a lot of people, I always ask people in lessons, what are you trying to do in your takeaway? Oh, just kind of turn and move everything away as one, and the club gets very in behind them, all right? But that aside, let's look at where the takeaway should be to give you the best chance for the remaining part of your swing, and also this drill to actually get that takeaway nailed down perfectly for you. Okay, so if you've watched other videos that I've done on the takeaway, you'll know that I'm a big fan of keeping some connection between the lead arm and the body, and that's typically kind of the armpit and lead pec. I'm also a big fan of not letting the hands move too far in or too far out. I like the sensation of them moving back. They will arc very slightly. Okay, the other thing is, from this takeaway position where the shaft's parallel, big fan of the club remaining ever so slightly outside your hands or in line, not too often back here. I know John Ram gets away with it, but a little bit either in line or slightly in front. And something else that's really important, probably the most important, is that the leading edge either matches my spine angle or my back line, but not here and actually not there either. Okay, so that's a nice square club to the arc that we're swinging on this way. And it's funny too, because those people that say takeaway is not important, will have a think about how difficult, and you can try this yourself. If you, and I do this a lot with students, I will put them in where their takeaway is. Let's say they've sort of been thinking one piece like this, they've pulled it in and maybe opened the face. Now, when I look at that golf ball and think about what I'm trying to achieve, from here, for me to hit that, it's going to be quite difficult for me to try and make a whole load of compensations and actually strike it. So we'll try one. Hit it okay. But some people might not recover from that. And then over the course of 100 shots, how often will you recover and fix that and hit a functional golf shot? So if then you try, and we'll get to this drill in a second, if we go to the better takeaway, and even just being here makes a whole lot more sense as to how I would come into the ball, keep my club face controlled, everything from that. But if I actually hit one from here, I'll find it so much easier to strike the golf ball. And I could feel even myself that I had less kind of moving around to do to try and make that work. All right. So takeaway, how do we get into that drill? How do we take care of that club face? Or how do we get into that good takeaway and take care of the club face, the connection, and all of those things? Well, it's quite a simple takeaway drill, this. What we're going to do is set up as normal to your setup position. Okay, you're going to take your right hand, you're going to make as much of an angle as you can in it, almost feeling like your fingers are trying to touch the forearm. They won't be able to. If they do, you can let me know in the comments and also send me a picture because I'd quite like to see that. But back here, okay, and now we're going to hook that underneath the arm of my left hand here. Okay, so I'm hooking that under here. Now the cool thing is, what I want to try and do now is get the club moving to this takeaway by pulling my lead hand to there. That gets me into a really nice takeaway position. Now, one thing I will point out, which this drill doesn't do, but you need to be a wee bit conscious of it, right around that right thigh, there's a little bit of upward movement. So back normal, you could say, one piece to here when you're doing this drill. And then as you continue, there's a little tiny bit of wrist cock to get that shaft to parallel. So under, it pulls it back. Really, really good. And it's taken care because you can't actually rotate the club open when you do this. And because you're pulling it straight back, you can't throw the arm out. You can't pull it in either. Basically, this hand's pulling your arm back into that nice takeaway position. Now, once you've done that a whole bunch of times and you've checked it maybe on camera to make sure that it's achieving the desired outcome, you'll go and put your right hand on from that position. If you're anything like me and you like to wear a good quality leather glove when you're playing golf, but don't fancy paying a high price tag for it only to fall apart in about 3 shots, well, go and check out my channel sponsors page, gxgolfgloves.com. Use code David at checkout and you'll save yourself a nice little bit of cash as well. Okay, and then you can just hit little soft shots from that, okay? But again, you know me, it's all about the repetition and how you do it. So you got to do a lot of those drills to get this feeling natural. Here, back, grab, and strike. Okay, guys, hope that makes sense. Any questions, just drop them in the comments, let me know. You know I'm here to help. And if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next one.